Good evening, everyone. At Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, 6 p.m., regular City Council meeting. Call the meeting in order. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano?
Here.
Councilmember Pavano?
Here.
Councilmember Farmer?
Here.
Councilmember Vandenberg?
Here.
Mayor Sandu?
Here. Please join a silent prayer and flag salute. Thank you. Madam Clerk, may I have a replay statement?
This meeting of the Galt City Council will be Comcast on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse cable systems. The meeting is closed captioned and webcast at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Friday, May 24th at 9 a.m. and Saturday, May 25th at 9 a.m. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/metrocable14.
Thank you. Next agenda item B, agenda approval, addition and deletion council. If nothing, the next agenda item C, presentation. First presentation, Galt Community of Character Coalition Honesty Award.
Thank you. I'm Pam Carmichael. I'm representing the Galt Community of Character Coalition and presenting 2 awards for honesty tonight. Tonight, we are recognizing 2 individuals in the Galt community who are true assets to our community and role models of honesty. The first is Rebecca Weaver. Please stand up, Rebecca. Rebecca Weaver is a true model of honesty. Rebecca has served as the Galt Teen Center, GTC, treasurer since their very beginning in April of 2019. Rebecca is meticulous with numbers, which is vital to be a successful treasurer. Rebecca is always honest in everything she says and does. She ensures there is always another person present when she counts donated funds. Rebecca documents the Galt Teen Center funds in full transparency. Her trustworthiness is appreciated as a valuable and necessary characteristic for our treasurer. Rebecca is extremely intelligent and willing to learn new accounting software. She goes above and beyond her duties as financial recorder and also helps to plan events, make edits for important documents, and maintains our website. Our GTC team especially loves Rebecca's sense of humor, which lightens everyone's mood. This nomination was by Sarah McFadden. Please come forward and receive your award, Rebecca. Next, we are also recognizing David Herberger as a role model of honesty. David learned about honesty as a youngster growing up in Galt. As it turns out, what he learned as a young man has influenced the way he lives his life and influences those around him. I say, please stand up, David, but he is already standing. There's a famous statement by Eli Wiesel. The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. The opposite of art is not ugliness, it's indifference. The opposite of faith is not heresy, it's indifference. And the opposite of life is not death, it's indifference. We can add honesty to this list. The opposite of honesty is not lying, it's indifference. Not being indifferent is a challenge that David Herberger has grappled with his entire life. At the age of 7, his parents put him to work for the family newspaper business, delivering papers on his bike. Picture it, the banana seat bicycle with canvas bags carrying rolled up newspapers. True? Like so many young children, David wanted to quit work early and go play with his friends, maybe take a few dollars he earned delivering papers to the store and buy a new model airplane. So, one day, instead of finishing his deliveries, David dumped some of his newspapers in the bushes. Now, the benefit of living in a small town like Galt is that people notice things. It just so happened to be his mom's best friend who saw him. This was a significant early lesson for David about lying and deceit that laid the foundation for both his work ethic and his commitment to honesty. David worked almost every job at the Galt Herald over the years. Something his parents always embedded in him is the responsibility of being the newspaper of record for a community. It is here people look to see who was born, who died, who graduated, what new businesses are coming to town, and what issues the city council is dealing with. He has often said that when covering a controversial issue, he knows the paper provided fair coverage when people on both sides of the issue were a little unhappy, since that meant neither side was favored unfairly. David Herberger has brought his commitment to honesty to every organization he has been a part of: Galt Sunrise Rotary, Galt Chamber of Commerce, the Sunshine Food Pantry, and the Galt United Methodist Church, to name just a few. In fact, representatives from each of these organizations insisted that David be nominated for this award, even knowing that his humility and gratitude for the efforts of others would mean he would be thoroughly embarrassed in receiving it. A little, just a little. While being honest in the community is something David certainly embodies, it is the honesty and integrity he has with his family that means the most to him. His 3 children, all of whom worked for him at the paper at one time, put it this way: Dad is the same person in private as he is in public. His oldest son, Daniel, succinctly stated, Dad never expects anyone to be someone other than who they are. He accepts who you present yourself as. It is with gratitude for this honest man that the Galt Sunrise Rotary nominates David Herberger for the Galt Community of Character Honesty Award. Please come receive your award.
He'll turn red or something.
Where are you going? Thank you for Galt Community Character Coalition. They giving this kind of award is really, and especially congratulations Rebecca and David. Thank you for your communities. How much you giving, lot of things you guys giving to the community. Congratulations and thank you. Any council member want to make any quick comment? If he's,
I will, sir.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, congratulations to you both. It really shows that when you have people in the community see who you are and provide an award, it really means a lot. It means a lot, not only to you and your families, I'm sure, but certainly to the rest of the community. So thank you for your work, and Thank you for your work in Rotary, David.
Thank you. Next presentation is going to Faye Gaines Certificate of Recognition. So I would like to ask Vice Mayor Lozano to present that award to Faye Gaines.
So I'm going to start up here, and then Faye, I'm going to have you come forward in a few minutes after I get done reading a little bit here. Want to thank you for coming out tonight and everybody that's here to support Faye. Since 2009, Faye Gaines has been a part of the Sunshine Food Pantry and Resource Center Incorporated. She's currently the CEO and director. 15 years ago, a teacher saw hungry children in her classroom and set about creating a partnership between schools, local businesses, and churches. The Sunshine Food Pantry was born. Originally located at Fairside Elementary School, volunteers, including Faye, joined forces with the goal to meet the nutritional needs of Galt Elementary School students, 62% of whom are from socioeconomically disadvantaged homes. As the needs of the larger community grew, so did the strategic goals of the Sunshine Food Pantry, providing food and resources beyond students to the historically underserved, seniors, veterans, farm workers, immigrants, families below the poverty line, those unexpectedly between jobs, single parents, and those on a fixed income. Each step, Faye has been central in continuing to encourage steady and secure growth to expand the Sunshine Food Pantry and Resource Center's ability to keep pace with the need. Faye has enlisted volunteers, secured grants, managed products, organized fundraisers, secured donations from local businesses, connected with partners, community-based organizations, and local agencies, all with a smile and open heart. Today, the original idea of a resource to provide for food for hungry children has become its own 501c3 nonprofit serving over 2,500 people a month. And at the tipping point of breaking ground on a freestanding building to house its mission, complete with cold storage to preserve fruit, fresh, nutritious, seasonal fruits, vegetables, dairy, eggs, and protein so important in a healthy diet. Faye is always open to help others, generous in her compassion, support for her church and its members, care for school children and the elderly. Her quiet and loving demeanor belies her fierce, tenacious advocacy for those in need. Faye's work can be seen in the ability to attract volunteers, over 4,300 hours in 2023. Serve individuals in need, over 27,000 in 2023. Transition to a nonprofit and official 501c3 in 2022. She's inspired growth to continue the new building fund of $450,000 plus. She was the 2022 Galt Volunteer of the Year, Galt the Community of Character Coalition in 2023 Award for Respect, and can always be found with a quiet sense of humor and smile. This morning, Faye Gaines was recognized by the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors for her dedication to our community. She was awarded the 5 over 50 award for District 5. To tell you a little bit about the award, the 5 over 50 award celebrates individuals aged 50 or older, which I wasn't quite sure about that, but we got it anyway, and who dedicate their time, energy, and passion to improving Sacramento County. On May 21st, today, Sacramento County Board of Supervisors recognized and thanked all the winners, one from each district. There are 5. And the Sacramento County's Adult and Aging Commission was proud to honor this year's winner, and Faye included, and thank them for making our community a better place to live. So real quick, we're going to watch a real short video. It's about 40 seconds of one of the videos shown today at the event.
Started from one of the local pastors and some of the outreach consultants at the school. The way I got involved was because I went to a few of the meetings, and it was like they were asking for volunteers to do stuff. And my hand, I would raise it because nobody else did. I love what I do. I love helping the people, the volunteers that we work with. I think, I'm very fond of all of them, and we work well together. But I didn't want to just sit home and do nothing. I wanted to be out in the community helping as much as I could.
One of the things I've noticed in my time around the Sunshine Food Pantry is Faye's servant leadership demeanor. She's definitely a leader, and she gets things done, but she never stops working. And there have been times when people that came to view the operation were there, and Faye quickly interrupted what she was doing and then went right back to what she needed to get done. So I want to congratulate Faye on her 5 at 50 award recognition, and the City Council tonight will be presenting her with a certificate of recognition to honor her work. Faye. And real quick, I just wanted to point out, Supervisor Hume planned to be here tonight, but had to go to another event, and wants to personally congratulate you again for your recognition. And so, thank you. And if we can, take some pictures up front with all the council.
I'll try.
All right, next agenda item is public comment. Madam Clerk.
Under Government Code Section 54954.3, members of the public may address the City Council on non-agenda items. The public comment section is for City Council to receive comments, except for brief responses to questions. No discussion or action may be taken on any item that is not listed on the agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Consistent with the City Council procedural guidelines, the mayor reserves the right to shorten that time limit for speakers to ensure the efficient and timely completion of all city business on the agenda. Tonight we have Gail Weber, and I'll just note that our timer's not working tonight, so I'll be using my phone for the 5-minute timer, but I know that if it goes over a minute or two, you're good.
Okay, thank you. Mayor and City Council and staff. My name is Gail Weber, and I'm representing L'Haim of Galt today. We are empowering the community one stitch at a time, is a new tagline we came up with. With the summer coming upon us and the heat, this is probably our 3rd year that we have done reusable neck coolers for the city employees, especially Public Works, the Planning Department, and Parks and Rec. I have new ones for this year. I was planning on doing this as a presentation in like June, but with this being Public Safety Works and Mike Selling leaving, I decided to do it now, and I'm sneaking it in under public comment. So we have 100 for Parks and Rec. We have 100 for Public Works, which includes the wastewater treatment plant, and I have 50 for the Planning Department. So I know who to give them to for the 2 departments, but who's for the Planning Department? You or? You can give them Okay, so I would just like to present them with the neck coolers. These are reusable. They're actually strips, and they have the water-soluble crystals in them. They can soak them for like an hour overnight, and then they use them. They're evaporative. You wear them on your neck, and it actually tricks your brain into thinking you're cooler because it cools the blood supply to your brain. You just let them dry completely. They dry flat, and you can use them over and over and over again. So we are proud at Laheim to present these to our city employees because we do watch them drive by, and it seems pretty hot out there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Give one to Tina. So this is Parks and Rec. You get green, sorry, and blue. So for the parks and for the pool.
All right. Thank you.
And then you get yellow.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you. Next agenda item, reports by City Council members on Regional Board, Commission, and Committees. Vice Mayor Lozano.
Yeah, I have a couple of items. Since I missed last meeting, I attended the California League of Cities Legislative Days, met with our state senator and state assembly member on topics covered were housing and homelessness, public safety, local revenue issues. The bulk of the discussion was centered around local control, fighting crime, and the effects of Prop 47, and the effects that Prop 47 has had on our communities, including retail theft. And so there's some bills in the legislature that we were advocating for and against, and it turned out to be really good. I think there was about 400 people there in the halls of the Capitol offices to talk to our legislators. The California Council of Governments, we have a legislative day tomorrow and a board meeting, so I'll report back out on that later. I was unable to attend the State of the City, and the reason is I was at a Sacramento Area Council of Governments meeting, which happened to be on the same day and ran late. We were talking about the Blueprint 2025, and I know I've mentioned this a couple of times here. The Blueprint is a 50-year plan that really is only a 4-year plan. It's kind of confusing, but it's a state-mandated item that is required of all regional bodies. And so part of the plan is talking about a housing element and relating it to a transportation element, and then molding that together to come up with how growth is going to happen, both residential, commercial, and also growth, development, and as well as transportation. So we were talking about housing, and one of the things that came out of our last several meetings was and I won't bore you with all the details, but the view of what housing will look like in 50 years and how many units will be built throughout the 6-county region. Originally, the SACOG board was looking at it as all these units spread out amongst the 6-county region and being partially built. One of the reasons the plan's put into place is to reduce the state's requirement that of GHG reduction of 19%. And as many people know, communities that are built out do much better with reducing that as opposed to partially built. So the SACOG staff and board went through an exercise of looking at full built communities as opposed to partially built. And so there was a lot of discussion on local control requirements that our general plan has and how they mesh with what the new plan will be moving forward. It won't affect our general plan. Our general plan is good for 20 years, which is in 2029. We'll have to do a review, but it went long. We had a lot of speakers from both the development community and the community that is really interested in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And so I apologize for missing the meeting, but I thought it was important that we stay and take care of that. So if anybody has any questions about the blueprint, I'd be happy to sit down with them and kind of go over what the next year entails. So hopefully in June, we'll vote on a housing piece of the blueprint and then move forward toward the transportation. And we have a Casumnas CSD 2x2 meeting, I think in 2 weeks, right, Mayor? I think it's in 2 weeks. And we'll report back out on that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Papineau,
Haven't had any meetings to report on.
Councilmember Farmer,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the CAST meeting. That's Cities and Schools Together, for those of you who don't know what that is, last Monday. And had our new interim manager, Chris Arias, was present. So it was a good meeting. It was productive. We did a quick little overview of what the purpose of CAST, at least what we think the purpose of CAST is, to have a real solid, cohesive working relationship between the school district and the city, and not treat them as two entities, but, work together for the betterment of the community. We have some standing agenda items that we cover usually, such as safety. So we went over a lot of safety items. We talk about, enhancements or updates on any safety measures that the schools are doing at the high school and the elementary level. We talk about safety issues that may relate to the school district from the city side. We did discuss the the school resource officer, a third school resource officer coming online. They were very excited about that. It's a long time coming. So we talked about that briefly. And then we also typically at these meetings talk about, growth and development and how that's going to affect the enrollment numbers. There was some good news. There's a slight uptick in enrollment at the elementary level, better than expected. This year, high school is still in a little bit of a decline, but everybody's trying to be optimistic. So I think it was a good meeting, right? Did I miss anything substantial that we went on? Yeah. So I always look forward to those meetings. I think it's important that we all get together and speak. And I think that was it, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have for it.
thank you. Councilmember Vandenberg,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing to report at this time.
myself, I have nothing to report this time. I certainly will report next council meeting. Next agenda item F, information consent calendar. It is recommended that item 1 through 9 be acted on simultaneously unless a separate discussion and action is requested by a council member. Any council member wants to pull any item or want to discuss any item from the consent calendar?
Yeah, I just wanted to pull F6 for a couple questions real quick. Just some brief questions.
Or just want to pull that item, right?
Yeah, thank you.
What's the F7?
6.
F6. All right, thank you. On the consent calendar, item 1, receive and file warrant for period ending May 8, 2024. Item 2, minutes of regular meeting of May 7, 2024. Item number 3, treasury report for period ending April 2024 and city Galt investment policy for fiscal year 2024-2025. Item 4, Galt Alton shared seat to the Sacramento Transportation Authority Board. Item number 5, amend chapter 2.75.03 of the municipal code pertaining to the Parks and Recreation Commission's purpose and function. Number 7, approval of inspection and engineering staff augmentation consultant task order with Coastland Civil Engineer, Interwest Consulting Group, KSN, and KEY Engineering and associated appropriations. Number 8, approve of Senate Bill 1 annual project list for fiscal year 2024-2025. Number 9, Galt Landscaping and Lighting District Resolution of initiating ordering preparation of engineering report of levy and collect assessment for fiscal year 2025. Any public comment on this agenda item 1 through 9 except item number 6?
No public comment.
If there is no public comment, I would like to have a motion to approve the item 1 through 9 except item 6. May I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Moved by Council Member Popenoe, second by Council Member Edinburgh. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano?
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer?
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg?
Aye.
Mayor Sandu?
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. Item approved on the consent calendar from 1 through 9 except item number 6. All right, now we go back to item number 6. Item number 6, authorize assurance of a request for proposal for the Emerald Vista Trail Extension Project Sequa Mitigated Negative Declaration previously completed National Environment Policy Act pending and authorized parks capital funds for grant funding match in the amount of $57,000. Councilmember Farmer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, Mike, apologize. I intended to call you today. I made a couple calls to Armando and answered some questions about something else, and then I went, but the day got away from me. I got busy. So I was just trying to clarify. So if I'm reading it correctly, so the project's going to cost us $470. 413 of it's coming from a grant. So tonight the agenda item is asking for just allocation of just $57,000. But in the verbiage it says something like that we front the money and then we're reimbursed and we have to finance it. And so I'm just trying to understand. So do we front the whole? Do we get at what point do we get reimbursed? At the end when it's all done, or?
Yeah, good question, Councilmember. So the way I understand it, and I'm going to look at John in case he has to correct me, but typically the way these grants work is the applicant, in this case us, the city, we cash flow the project and then they reimburse us afterwards. So typically there's a closeout report, if you will, that we submit to the state in this case, and then they would issue the reimbursement. So showing them the costs that we paid the consultant, or I mean the contractor, I'm sorry, so.
Very similar to what the process we were going through on C Street.
Okay. And so and I just asked because it's asking for it to come from Parks Capital Funds, which it seems appropriate. I also did ask Armando, he said that was appropriate when I was asking about something else. But it just, and then it said that the project, goes through the timeline, and once we get to September 24, we get to like the design phase, and then it says we come back in 25. So it was like a year. So it's going to take a whole year to get the design.
So it's, well, designed, but there's an environmental piece there, and that's a bit of an unknown. It can take up to 2 years. We estimate for this project and the nature of it, we should be done in a year or even less, hopefully, so.
Okay. So to clarify, even though we're really going to be spending $57,000, we're going to be putting up $470 out of the Capital Parks Fund until probably fall of 26 possibly, and then we get reimbursed right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's all I had, and I apologize for not asking in advance. Just wanted to get some clarification on that. So I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any council member, any other question on this agenda item? Any public comment on this agenda item?
No public comment.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the item number F6?
So moved.
Second.
Is moved by Council Member Farmer, second by Vandenberg. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano?
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau? Councilmember Farmer?
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg,
Aye.
Mayor Sandu.
Aye. Motion passes 2-5 to 0. Thank you. Next agenda item is G, schedule matter notice of public hearing. The subject, annexation of a territory to Community Facility District 2021 Public Service Annexation Number 7, Greenwood Cottage. So this agenda item is a public hearing. City Clerk, the notice of public hearing was mailed and published in accordance with the law.
Yes, notices was mailed and published in accordance with the law.
Thank you. I would like for the report from the city staff on this agenda item.
Did you ask for the vote from us? It should be from the
No, it's from the report.
staff report.
Yes,
Oh,
staff
well,
report.
yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry, I thought you said vote, so. Real quick, just for the council and the public's understanding, Greenwood Cottages is a 226 unit small lot condominium, meaning each condominium has its own lot. This is located off of Carillion, and it's just south of Twin Cities, kind of behind the old Rite Aid building, if you will, there on the west side. So it's been a project that's been around for a while, and April 16th, this public hearing date tonight was set by the council previously, and so this is the time and place to hold a public hearing for consideration to annex it into CFD, Community Facilities District 2020-1, and this would be the 7th annexation to occur. So with that, I can answer any questions.
Any council member, any question regarding this agenda item? I believe I already opened that public hearing in this. Any public comment on this agenda item?
No public comment.
Okay, no further public comment will be accepted after close this hearing. So now I'm going to close the public hearing. Any other question with the staff or any other question with the council member? If it's not, the city clerk, if any written protests have you received?
No written protests have been received.
So there is no written protests have been received, right?
Correct.
So city clerk, as to whether there any persons registered to vote within annexation number 7 Greenwood Cottage of Community Facility District number 2021, and if so, city clerk's response.
No, the County of Sacramento Registrar of Voters has certified that there are no registered voters within the annexation number 7 Greenwood Cottages of Community Facilities District number 2020-1.
Thank you. City clerk, if the owner of all the taxable property in annexation number 7 Greenwood Cottage of Community Facility District number 2021 has consented to holding the special election on May 21st, 2024.
Yes.
Thank you. City clerk, are you concur that the special election may be held on May 21st, 2024?
Yes.
Thank you. And now we already closed the public hearing. So if there is no public comment, so I'm looking to motion to approve the following resolution. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Galt, California, calling a special election and submitting to the qualified electors of the territory proposed to be annexed to the City of Galt Community Facility District number 2021, Public Services, County of Sacramento, State of California, the question of levying special taxes within their territory, annexation number 7, Greenwood Cottage.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This was moved by Vice Mayor Lozano, second by Council Member Berenberg. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano.
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau. Councilmember Farmer.
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg.
Aye.
Mayor Sandu.
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. Now I'm looking to motion to approve the following resolution. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Galt, California, acting its capacity as a legislative body of City of Galt Community Facilities District Number 2021, Public Services, County of Sacramento, State of California, and declaring the results of a special election in such community facilities district on the propositions of the annual levy of special taxes within the territory proposed to be annexed to said community facility district to pay the cost of certain services to be provided by the community facilities district, determining that the territory proposed to be annexed is added to part of said community facilities district with full legal effect and ordering the recording of a map of the boundaries of said community facilities district, including the territory annexed, their annex number 7, Greenwood at the Greenwood Cottage. May I have a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Is moved by Council Member Berenberg. Second by Vice Mayor Lozano. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano.
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau.
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer.
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg.
Aye.
Mayor Sandu.
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. Now I'm looking to motion to introduce by title only and waive further reading of the following ordinance. Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Galt authorizing the levy of special taxes in a community facilities district, including certain annexation territory identified as annexation number 7, Greenwood Cottage, into City of Galt Community Facilities District Number 2021 Public Service. May I have a motion to approve?
Mayor, I have a just point of clarification. At what point are we going to do the election, conduct the election on this? Is that,
That should have been done right after the first resolution.
okay.
Yeah.
So can I go ahead and read that now?
Yeah.
City clerk conducts a special election by stating that the official ballot has been opened and that all votes are in favor in the proposition presented on the ballot.
Thank you. So on this ordinance, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is moved by Council Member Vandenberg. Second by Council Member Papineau. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano.
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau.
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer.
Aye.
Councilmember Vandenberg.
Aye.
Mayor Sandu.
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. Thank you. Next agenda item is regular calendar. City Manager. Subject: Memorandum of Understanding with the Galt District Chamber of Commerce. Ms. Mendes.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council, Amy Mendes, Economic Development Director. Do you have the clicker?
I am sorry, I left it up there.
Good evening. I am here this evening, actually joined by Kat Siebolt, the Communications Director with the Galt Chamber. She is in the audience and would like to say a couple of words when I'm done with my presentation. But we are both here this evening, actually, regarding a proposed memorandum of understanding between the City of Galt and the Galt District Chamber of Commerce. As you may recall, back on March 19th, the City Council provided direction to staff on the expenditure of funds remaining from the COVID-19 Small Business Assistance Grant Program. During the meeting, Council directed staff to utilize the remaining funds to develop a small business grant match program, for a small business security assessment and grant program, to conduct an Old Town Visionary Plan, and to develop a 2-year memorandum of understanding with the Galt District Chamber of Commerce. And that's the reason that we're here this evening, is for the MOU with the Chamber. The other items will follow hopefully within the next month or so. The overview of the MOU, essentially the chamber responsibilities would be for an Old Town mural program. The city will allocate $80,000 to fund a mural program in Old Town Galt. The chamber will collaborate with local property owners to identify suitable locations for large-scale outdoor murals. The murals will be placed on non-residential buildings with the property owner and city's approval. The second item detailed in the MOU is a business and marketing workshops. The city will allocate $15,000 for quarterly marketing workshops to provide valuable insights into leveraging social media, compelling storytelling, and customer attraction strategies. The third item in the MOU is tourism-related publications. The city is proposing to allocate $20,000 to the chamber to design and print visitor-related advertising materials. This includes an illustrative map highlighting critical areas of interest, such as shopping, dining, and popular destinations. Additionally, the chamber will produce Galt postcards and stickers serving as souvenirs for locals and visitors, further promoting community pride and engagement. The main terms of the MOU are essentially payment to the chamber for the items detailed. $115,000 would be paid in 2 installments. The first installment would be on July 1st, 2024, and the second would be 1 year from now, July 1st, 2025. The city and the chamber will meet bi-monthly to review activities detailed in the MOU. And the chamber will provide semi-annual reports to the city council reporting accomplishments and expenditures of funds. Basically, the proposed MOU represents a strategic partnership between the city and the chamber intended to foster economic growth, promote local businesses, and enhance the city's overall appearance. The initial funding that this is being allocated from is leftover funding from ARPA. We had the COVID Small Business Assistance Program that had some remaining funds, and as many of you know, we had a chamber ad hoc committee that had been assembled and initially was going to be allocated for a tourism center, and after several meetings of the ad hoc committee, the decision was to allocate funding for the other programs that were detailed back on March 19th. And this one is for the MOU between the chamber and the city. So tonight, we are asking that you adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute the MOU. Kat Siebolt, as I mentioned, is here this evening, and I think she wants to say a few words in discussion of the item.
Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. We're excited that we are here. My second day on the job, this ad hoc committee was formed. So it's been just over a year, and I think from where we started to where we landed, we've listened to our chamber members, the community, direction from council, and I think that we have come to a place where we've been able to address a lot of concerns that have been brought to us. So if there's any questions that you have from us or any concerns.
Any council member?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. One's for you, Ms. Seabold, and the other's maybe for Amy. So, I mean, maybe this just goes without saying, but I noticed in the MOU, I'll just use the marketing, or not the marketing, but the tourism materials, for lack of a better word, we'll use that piece. So the allocation of money is the chamber is, it's very detailed about purpose, the money's to be used for, you know, all that stuff. But I know it's not detailed in theirs, but I'm just maybe not asking that it be required, but just maybe asking as, be mindful of the chamber would, that when you go out to design for such things or purchase such things, all that kind of stuff, if you would be, and I'm sure you guys are going to probably do this already, but I'm just kind of, you know, that you would do business locally. And, you know, I know it's easy in the day and age to use, you know, online printing shops and design and stuff. It might be slightly cheaper. You know, I don't want you to be, you know, frivolous with the money. I want it to go as far as it can if this gets approved tonight. But I would just ask you guys to be mindful to try to keep that dollars back in the community or locally as much as possible.
I appreciate that. One of the policies that we implemented when I came on was we start local. We give the opportunity to our chamber members first, and if they are not able to fulfill, then we reach outside, but we do try to keep it within the city.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then my other questions are, you said quarterly workshops for the business marketing. This is a 2-year under, so I would assume that would be 8 workshops?
Correct.
Okay, so 8 workshops, okay. And then the last question is for the Old Town Mural Program. And I know when I get into the weeds on this, as we always do, but it says Old Town Mural Program. You know, us old school Galtonians, Old Town is like the historic district, and downtown is kind of like the uptown. But I know we've kind of, for lack of a better word, started describing all of that area as Old Town. So what are the geographic parameters of this program? I think there's no definition of that I could see, so I'm just concerned that a business would come forward asking to do a mural on their building and we don't have any geographical guidelines.
It is stated in the MOU, actually, and it's the downtown district zoning, and so of the zoning map, that's the verbiage that's used in the MOU.
Okay, and
So it
just
follows
for
our
the
zoning
audience.
code for downtown zoning,
So
which
for-
essentially goes from Market to 4th Street, and then I want to say A to D or E,
Or F.
potentially, up Lincoln, maybe F. I don't have the zoning map in front of me, but
Well,
then it goes down Lincoln as
okay.
well.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was starting to, you know, my mind was going around what properties could be good candidates. And, you know, there was a discussion, I don't know where it's at now, but whoever should, you know, end up getting the property where the Sagal milk plant was. I know there's some hangups with that with the previous, you know, interested buyer, but, you know, the water tower was one of those things that was looking to have a mural done. So I just wanted to be sure that that fell within the footprint of the Old Town area.
The Sago milk plant property? Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Okay,
It does.
Right.
It just goes over the railroad, and that's kind of the ending point.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. I don't think I have any additional questions at this point, maybe later, but thank you. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Rose, how many people in the public comment on this agenda item?
We have 2.
Can you please just,
Chris Brosman. You got
Thank you for the opportunity to talk. Those of you that have been in past chamber and conference meetings with the staff here know I've spoken against $530,000, $20,000 desks. I have to tell you, this is the first proposal that I see that I could fully endorse. And as a citizen, I think the partnership with the chamber makes good sense for the city. And really, when you look at the outlay of cash on this, it's really chump change. So I just wanted to get up because I've said negatives a lot of times to the chamber. And this time, I think the chamber came up with a really good plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Bonnie Rodriguez.
having been on the original committee, I'm really happy to see this. I have no dog in the fight any longer. I sold my business and moved on, but I was sitting here thinking about this mural program and some of the other stuff that I think is just phenomenal that we are actually moving forward on. So thank you to everyone. But I'm going to do the little history lesson, and I think the only two people in the room, because I looked around, that will remember is Chris and Armando back in, I think it was 2008 when Shop Local was together, and they wanted to do murals. They wanted to put some artwork, artwork down in Old Town to bring business down there. 2008, that's how long we've been working on this. So I just wanted to congratulate this council and for staff for actually getting this far. It's wonderful having been, unfortunately, I was one of those back in 2008. We had people in the room earlier that were here, and I'm sure we'll probably be pretty ecstatic. Gail Weber was one that was really trying to push for this stuff, and Lisa Klotz. And I don't know that they necessarily got tired of the fight, but they certainly walked away from the fight. I think we all did until this other opportunity. So again, I appreciate everything that everybody's gone through. I know that Kat, literally that second day on the job, this was all her and our two ad hoc committee members, Councilman Papno and Councilman Vanderberg, really fought for us and fought for the city too. Trust me, we would have taken as much money as they'd given us, Chris. But they did the right thing, and we're all in the right place, and I'm very grateful that council's listening to this and that staff did their due diligence. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. I'd like to say that, on behalf of the chamber, I guess, I really appreciate that the chamber listened to everybody. And yeah, they asked for the sky, and that's a fine thing to do because that's what you should do. But they also paid attention to all the information that was given them from outside authorities, outside of Galt, business people, et cetera, and they stayed practical and inside necessities of the city and what they could accomplish. So I really appreciate that, and I know that, I certainly approve of this, and I know that it will be in good hands.
Thank you. Any other council member?
I would echo what Jay said. It doesn't need to be repeated, but it was a heck of a process, and no secret, things were a little bumpy at the beginning, but I really appreciate everybody coming around to, as I said before, kind of starting at the beginning, and we found a good spot. I think this is great, and I look forward to it growing and moving on. I know there's more plans coming, but it's a great start. So, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, just real quick, agree with everybody that's spoken. This started actually for me, this particular issue started with me on January 12th of 2023. Don't ask me how I remember that, but I do. And it was a meeting about an idea, and it's so good to see that now the city and the chamber can come together and have an understanding and provide the businesses in this community an opportunity to enhance their businesses, enhance Galt and the economic development of Galt. So I want to thank Amy Mendez and Kat for drafting and coming up with the MOU and putting together presentations for us. Great job. I also want a special thank you to our council members that were on the ad hoc committee. I think it sounds like they did a great job, and appreciate you taking the time to do that. I've been on an ad hoc committee with Councilmember Farmer, and it's a lot of work. So thank you for what you do, and thank you to the rest of the staff that help support.
Thank you. The last thing, same thing, I would agree with my fellow council member. This is a very good, they come from 500,000 to do exactly wherever we need to start. I also like to thank you both council members. They spend a lot of time to get together. Thank you for the staff, Amy Mendez. Thank you for the chamber, Kate. And I really happy to see that city and the chamber get together. And we all know the city's focus to accomplishment, and the same thing is the chamber's attention to accomplish for the small business they can help. So if the small business is growing, then we can have some more benefit to the city. So I was looking for this, but certainly be happy to support this MOU tonight. Any other public comment?
Mr. Mayor, if I make,
Yeah, sure.
make a statement too. Yeah, first of all, just echoing, thank you, Kevin, thank you, Jay, for spending an enormous amount of time on the ad hoc. Thank you to the Chamber for all their patience with that process. Obviously, it went on very long, longer than I think it needed. But I think it's a good mixture of what we came up with. I think I would like to thank the Chamber for compromise. I think it's important that we all compromised, not just for the city's sake and for the Chamber's sake, but obviously, you know, to make sure the community, you know, embraces this as well. Thank you, Mr. Brossman. Great example of the community being more happy with the result that came back, and even the programs that were approved back in March. I mean, this is a great mixture of things, I think, for the community. And lastly, I'll just close with saying that, you know, thank you, Amy, for all your work on this. I know you worked really hard on this and coming up with the ideas with the Chamber. And thank you, Chris, for, I feel like, really, you know, as our interim city manager, kind of understanding the importance of nurturing the relationship with the city and the Chamber. I feel like that was maybe not completely what we were getting before, and so I appreciate you understanding the importance of that and helping getting this ball over the, you know, over the goal line, and moving forward with a great, you know, relationship with the Chamber. And I know that you guys heard me in strategic planning, like, keep pounding that nail about how, you know, I know as a city we always get caught up in the new things, the new development and the new businesses and what can we bring to Galt. But I just always like when we look, you know, in the rear view and think, you know, we need to be taking care of the businesses that are here and the people that have been, you know, hashing it out for, you know, decades, making a living in this small town, which is not easy. You know, and if it wasn't for those small businesses, the town of Galt wouldn't be what it is. So I appreciate that we're doing this and you know, paying it forward to those businesses and giving them opportunities for things and not just focus on the new shiny things. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the time.
Thank you. Any other comment by any council member? If it's not, then may I have a motion to approve the item number H1?
So moved.
Is moved by Council Member Berenberg, second by Council Member Papano. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano?
Aye.
Councilmember Pepino?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vandenberg?
Aye.
Mayor Zandu?
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. Next agenda item is H2, Finance Department, General Fund Contribution Policy for Parks and Recreation Fund. Mr. Boring.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight's item is the proposed general fund contribution policy to the Parks and Recreation Fund. This is a follow-up from the information that we brought on the April 6, 2024 council meeting, and council provided direction to bring back this policy. And tonight, staff is requesting that council approve the policy and provide the contribution percentage to be used in the policy. So we'll start just with a little bit of contribution history. This is a slide that was included in the presentation on April 6th and provide some historical context. Mainly, you can see on the right side of the table the actual columns that shows the percentage of the general fund actual expenditures that was transferred as a contribution to the Parks and Rec Fund for those particular years. So the most recent transfer in fiscal year 22-23 was 3.75%. There's a high of 11.18%, a low of 3.47%. And if I look at the right screen, so the average, the mean, so the simple average is 6.14% over that period of time. And the median, so if you take the lowest and the highest, and the middle point was 3.88%. And I include this in here so we can flip back and forth later on if you want to review this again. And the clicker doesn't want to cooperate with me anymore. There we go. So the formula that we came up with, we call it the general fund base. So we're recommending using the most recently audited most recently audited fiscal year general fund expenditures. So in the example, we're going to look at what the calculation would be for fiscal year 25. So that'll be the fiscal year 23 actuals. And we remove one-time funds and items that have significant fluctuations to create a stable base. It seems counterintuitive to remove stuff, but we can augment that with the contribution percentage. So, if we have a smaller base, you can have a higher percentage. But that way, it'll allow us to use the calculation over several years without having to come and redo the policy every year. If we didn't do that and we included, say, expenditures that were funded with grant funds, then that would artificially inflate your calculation when you use that year's actuals, and you'd overburden our recurring revenues. The next factor is the contribution percentage, and that's what council will provide to us tonight, and we'll put in the policy. So we would take the audited general fund actuals, remove any one-time items, multiply it by the contribution percentage to generate the general fund contribution to the Parks and Recreation Fund. And we would include that with the budget presentation that we bring to council in the May-June timeframe. So we would bring sort of the calculation and what the recommend or the policy contribution is, and council would have an opportunity to adjust that if they saw fit, if there were it was restricting general fund, or if there were other projects they wanted to fund, they could increase it. The policy just states this is what the baseline is for the budget process. And some information about the general fund base calculation. So these are the fiscal year 23 general fund actuals, and we have them grouped by the element. That's just part of our account code, just to make it simple. And so we have the actual broken out, so you can see like personnel transfers, the O&M costs, city events. Those we would propose to all be included. Those are typically our recurring expenditures. And then the pension unfunded liability, we recommend not including that just because that's heavily influenced by CalPERS investment activities. So we get increases or decreases depending on what the markets do in any given year. And then the other capital accounts, because those are typically one-time in nature, so those tend to fluctuate significantly also. So based on general fund actuals for fiscal year 23 was $20.1 million. And we would propose taking $4.62 million out of that, so our general fund base would be the $15.5 million. And this is just kind of a sample calculation, so taking the $15.5 million, and our council discussed like a 5 to 6% range during the last meeting, so we just kind of showed 5%, 5.25%, up to 6%. And so, 5% would be a $773,000 contribution, 6% would be $928,000. And so if you have a different percentage, we can tell you what that would be now, or if you had a desired dollar amount, we could tell you the corresponding percentage that would relate to that. And that's the end of the presentation. So do you have any questions about different percentages or rates or amounts you'd like to know?
I just had a clarification question to make sure I understand it right. The first slide where you were showing the percentages, and this is based on the base formula that we're considering tonight?
No, these are what we actually transferred compared to the actual expenditures for that fiscal year.
Actual amounts.
Correct.
So the percentages are going to be a little bit different from these because we're working from a different base.
Yeah, and one of the main differences between the policy presented tonight and these percentages is historically through the budget process, we would budget a contribution from the general fund to the Parks and Recreation Fund to balance our operational needs. But the amount actually transferred is only what they needed that year. So say we budgeted $1.2 million, but last year they needed 809,000, we only transferred the 809,000. So with the contribution policy, we would, whatever dollar amount is approved in the budget for the policy, we would transfer that. So it wouldn't be a, if needed, it would be, that's just the general fund contribution.
Thanks.
And if you had any other questions about any other parts of the policy or the calculations, I'm happy to answer those also.
Matt, take me through the the base number. So the base number is so when you start, and I'm just going to round numbers. Each year, let's say the police department gets $8 million for their budget. I don't know. That could be give or take. I forget from year to year where it changes, but and then public works, so on and so forth, whatever. So is that the 15 million number? Is that our current kind of base number where we're at now, or is it real? What? Take me through that again. I'm trying to understand the difference between that and the 20 million.
So, so these numbers represent the fiscal year 23 actuals for the general fund, and we want to use an actual number. If we were to use, say, current year budget or any current open fiscal year, it's a moving target because that can change. And so to make it so we can calculate something and bring it to you with the budget, if we were using the proposed 25 budget, then that number would continue to fluctuate, and so we couldn't have a good base number to start with. So for the proposed fiscal year 25 calculation, we start with the 23 audited actuals. So the general fund actuals were the 20.1 million for all general fund departments, and the information here isn't sorted by department, but just by the expenditure type. So, for example, the pension unfunded liability, there was 1.7 million expensed in the general fund, and that's for all general fund departments. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so do you, with 15 as our base, typically do you have another number to reference? What would you say, since you've been here, is the change in the general fund? I know we're just coming off COVID and things have been kind of weird, but does it typically tick up a little bit? Last time you think the base was 14 or 15, or was it more than, or what do you think?
I don't know off the top of my head, but over time it would usually tick up because a large portion of it is your personnel costs. And, with COLAs, we have, our insurance costs are ticking up. So those will typically, tick up a little bit each year. Another big category that we're recommending to be included in the calculation is their O&M costs. And those are, amounts we contract with or materials, supplies we buy, fuel. So those costs are typically, going up with CPI every year. So, unless you were to cut general fund services, I would anticipate that total would tick up kind of with, in step with the rest of the city expenditures year over year.
Can you go to the other slide for a second? The one that shows the contributions, the one before, I'm sorry, that one there. Yeah, that one. So, yeah, the 1819 was, that was obviously an anomaly. So your math was throw out the highest, which is 11, the lowest, which is the 3.4, and take the other three and average those out. I came up with 16 something divided by 3 was like 5.3, but if you take all of them and divide them by 5, it's like 6.25.
If I took all of the actual expenditures divided by all of the contributions, it's 6.14%. And this isn't adjusted for anything. So like the years that are higher, so say fiscal year 18-19, there could be like more capital projects that were completed in the Parks and Rec Fund in that year, and the general fund had a higher contribution to contribute towards those. So without knowing that, it's difficult to say what was driving those changes.
Right.
So we can set it up now. So if you wanted to keep, say, a specific dollar amount, so we contributed $809,000 in fiscal year 23. So if you wanted to say 800,000 or 900,000, I could, based on the general fund base we are proposing, I can tell you what contribution percentage would be required to equal that. So we can For discussion purposes, you can say, I want it to be a certain percentage, or you can start with, I would like it to be a certain dollar amount.
Yeah.
I can let you know what percentage.
As you know, I've advocated for the percentage. I just don't think the dollar amount works because, I mean, you know, if this policy continues, which I would, you know, future councils can do whatever they want. We all know that in this room. So we're only just setting an example here. We're not locking anything in.
Correct. Well, I meant like if you had like a specific dollar amount you wanted to be contributed in fiscal year 25,
And you would,
then we
you
can
tell
tell
us
you what percentage,
yeah.
and we would
Yeah.
put that percentage in the policy. So next year, assuming there's a general fund increase, then the contribution, you know, we would use that same percentage, and the contribution would also increase.
Yeah. I mean, I just, you know, obviously just revisiting what I was just saying is for those in the audience, instead of looking at a dollar figure, you know, obviously if this continued for 10 more years, you know, we were doing 800,000, for example, 800,000 just isn't going to be what it used to be in 10 more years from now. So I feel like as the general fund increases and other funds, fair enough, you know, next year the police department will probably get more money than they did, you know, all the funds tend to get more as we go. It's just the cost of doing business, right? I would assume that I would like to see this contribution do the same. That's why the percentage makes sense. I mean, you know, roughly since we've been in office, like it was around, well, let's see. Actually, you have the numbers up there. I thought it was a more like, well, maybe it was prior to when I was in office. It seemed like the number was around 800, give or take, each year. So the other one where you show the percentages, the other slide where you show starting from 5 and going up to 6, I mean, you're right in the ballpark. So, yeah.
I think it may be important to note that we also gave the Parks and Recs a no excuses budget plan. And so that's going to add to some of the overhead, you know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the reason we're having this discussion is because, you know, we want Measure Q to be a supplement, not replace. I think with Measure R, if those of you that are long enough, there's been times where people have come forth and said, you know, Measure R's, there's some shell game action going on and we're paying for stuff that should be general fund and so on and so forth. It really just came down to language. I think there was some language in Measure R that wasn't really thought through and it was poorly written. And so because of that, we have what we have. And not that Measure R is bad, it's doing a good job, but I just don't want to see that kind of thing come up in the future. I don't ever want to see somebody standing up there, even when I'm up here or down there in the future saying, you know, that I voted for Measure Q to be blah, 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 and instead it's just a shifting of money. So I personally like the 6% number. I think 928 is fair. I mean, I could sit here and say I like $1 million, but I think 928 is a solid number. I don't think any department gets that minimal of a piece of the pie, unless I'm wrong. But I think I think the general fund can afford it. Clearly, we've budgeted way higher and then not needed it. So, but I think with 6% is a good point. And future councils can obviously have the right to adjust that. But I like the percentage. I like the 6. That's what I'd be in support of tonight. But obviously, there's 5 of us, and I'd like to hear what everybody else has to say.
Well, I'd like to address the point that this is dandy, you know, the 6%. Let's just say we go with that. If it's more or less Measure Q, which is general fund money, I think it should be mentioned. That's backfilling whatever shortfalls there may be, and it could be just a nominal amount, and it's not really brought up other than go ahead.
I would say for accounting purposes, we have set up a separate fund for Measure Q.
Right.
When we do the financial statements, it'll most likely roll up, but when we do like the MD&A where, you know, we get a chance to explain information that we think is relevant, we'll have that information so we can clearly show here's the revenue in this fund, and then the expenditures will be in the other fund, so we can show here's the money that came in, here's the transfers to the different funds to support programs. So we'll
Correct, and I think that's excellent to bring up because that is what council asked for and how it was presented to the people during voting. So I think that's excellent. Don't get me wrong, but legally, it's general fund money. So it's a little bit of, when you talk about shell games, it's to people that aren't aware of those or may miss it in 3 or 4 years from now. It can easily seem that way, but if we're a little over and under, we're still going to make adjustments. Correct.
Correct. So this will, we'll do the calculation as we start preparing the budget and present it. So, like if there were other general fund needs, you know, city manager could request that the actual contribution be lower in that year, or if there were more needs in Parks and Recreation. It's not saying that general fund couldn't contribute more. That's just the baseline that we're going to build into the budget, but council will have the opportunity to review it every year.
Yep, thank you. That's all I really wanted to bring up. I agree with Mr. Farmer on the 6%.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions. You just answered one. I think the annual review is important. There will be times where it's going to need more. And certainly, I think that there's going to be times where it's going to need less once we get our bearings about us related to Measure Q and how we're going to move forward on a lot of projects. So the other question I had to do with when you talked about grants and removing them from the baseline, what types of grants are we talking about?
It would just be any type of grant that we're recording in the general fund. So like ARPA would be a good example. Like the city received $6.6 million. So if we were to include all of those expenditures in the baseline at 6%, say that's, an extra, I don't know, $100,000 or so.
Right.
So that would be built into the next year when we didn't have that additional revenue. So that would overburden our reoccurring. So, your sales tax, property tax would have to pay a bigger share in the following year if we didn't remove those from the baseline.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. And maybe the grant we got for, the one that popped in my head was the Walker Park turf improvement. That wouldn't necessarily.
So that one probably won't be in the general fund, but it just sort of depends on the different types of grants we get.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
As far as a number goes, 6 is fine. As was said, we're in the ballpark. The annual review is the thing that I'm glad to see the most because, 2008 to 2010 is going to happen again. Hopefully we don't find ourselves in another 2018 situation. But should that happen, and we have to start shifting some money to try and, keep the sewer running and keep the police department open, future council is going to need the ability to on the fly, and annually take a look at that. So, I'm pleased to see that part, and I think that, putting that 6% in sends the right message that we intend to keep the general fund funding Park and Rec in addition to Measure Q. So, all I have.
Thank you. The 6% is I'm agree with them that too, because the reason I believe my reason was to asking the percentage, because every year revenue can go up and expense can go up. So it's baseline, the contribution can go up. And then we don't have to, this is when you make the budget in the middle, then you have the baseline. Then, and also it's very important, like in annual review or semi-annual review, and then council have the opportunity to change from 6 to 5%, whatever they needed. That's all.
I just have one thing. This might seem unusual, but I'm just curious. Thank you, Chris. I just have to say thank you for letting the council, since you've been here, our meetings, it's just, you just let us do our thing and you don't try to take over the meeting. But I'm asking you, but with that said, Chris, I would like to know, what are your thoughts on this?
Thank you, Councilman Farmer. I appreciate the kind words. Being relatively new to, not to Galt, but to the Measure Q issue, I'm trying to, understand the need. And I think I get, the need or the requirement to do, the minimum 6%. I always feel like the numbers to me tell a different story. And the numbers tell me that the city historically has put in, and I hate to say that because I don't like, the subsidy word or the contribution. I mean, Parks and Rec is an important part of the city, and we should use general fund to provide it the funds it needs to succeed and, to help the community. So to me, the numbers show that the city's kind of done that. I mean, granted, I think there are some areas that were not
taken care of, more, the landscaping things that I think the city had concern over. But the numbers show that the city is willing to put in the money it needs to take care of Parks and Rec. And if council understands that future councils can change, spending priorities, and then we're going to do a report out on an annual basis, is the 6% requirement moot? It really shows council has control over budget. We show in a budget coming up in a 2-year cycle on how we're going to spend that money. I think in our current year, we're going to exceed that.
Yeah. No, and you're right. It really is just, it's really symbolic what we're doing here, because we clearly have been putting the money in, so it's not like we haven't been. But I think that in the past, it's always been like, well, we had to subsidize, I hate that word.
I hate that term.
Right. And so I think tonight is just, and again, we're going to have the review and all that, but I think it's just looking at that's what the baseline is, so that we're not like 2% and then it's 7% and then it's 4% and just kind of bounce all around. I think we're just looking at like a stable whatever. And mainly this is just signaling to the voters that we understand that this is a supplement, not replace type thing, not just a swapping,
And I would just say, as staff, we understand that too. We feel, the public has spoken, we have every intention of taking care of the items that we believe Measure Q is intended for. And I can assure you that no current staff here would have any intention of doing anything differently.
Well, thank you for your insight, Chris. Appreciate it.
I just want to add, as staff, we've put subsidy in the bad word box, and we probably haven't shared that with Chris, so we try not to use it anymore.
That's the first time I heard from last couple council, last couple city manager. All right, if nobody have no question, then any public comment?
We do have a public comment. Chris Brossman?
So slide 1, we look at this number and we're discounting it to $15 million in 22-23. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah, so we took the 23 actuals and backed out the one-time items.
Yep. So really, when we look at the budgeted for Parks and Rec at 1.5, it'd be a 10% number. Now, sitting through a lot of council meetings, one of the ways that 1.5 was reduced was transferring a lot of LLCs or lighting and landscaping monies from general fund to Measure Q. So to me, we are effectively reducing it, and that's why we were able to go down to the 809 number. 6%, can I live with it? Yeah, I'm really happy on that side, but I will throw in a few notes type deal. We got an election coming up. More than likely, we're going to have a lot of new faces on our council. I've been here since you guys argued it out in the police department on whether to put this measure on the ballot. And I'll compliment you guys, all 5, on getting it there, because I think what Measure Q is going to do is build a better city of Galt. It's going to build our property values. It's going to build our citizens' values on how we view the city. I'm still going to be guarding those dollars and making sure that we are supplementing the budget. Can I live with 6%? Yeah, I can live with 6% because, to be honest with you, I like that we're finally making a commitment instead of going, oh, there's just an expense. And the recognition there, to me, is huge. I'm really happy to see that you guys are all looking to put this to bed before we do have a change. Now, agreed, we all know that future councils, if it hits the fan, bottom line, do we expect cutbacks in the Parks and Rec? Absolutely, we do. We got to take care of the basics always. And Parks and Rec is important, don't get me wrong. But police, fire, sewer working are really important. But I thank you guys for committing to putting on the table 6%, to be frank with you. $922,000 is not anything to sneeze about. I might go 8%, but that's just because I really do love the Parks and Rec, and I really do want to see it expand. And last year was 10%, so hey, still giving up 2% on that. But thank you guys again for the chance to talk.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
I would like to add that if I take the actuals that we contributed up there, the 5 different years, and divide them by 5, it is 979. So we are really close to what we've been putting in. So I think that 6 is a good number. Just want to throw that out there.
I don't know, is any other public comment?
No other public comments.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve item number H2?
I have a quick comment before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the bearer of bad news sometimes, I apologize. Not really bad news, but I think something we can't forget is our Parks Master Plan that's coming out that will certainly drive a lot of our spending, and it may be more than 6%, honestly, in the beginning. We'll just have to see what that does. And again, not that we're doing a horrible job at the market, but I just want to again point out that the effort to continue to improve revenue at the market on our Tuesday and Wednesday sessions would be very, very good as well. And so I just want to point those two things out, but I can support the 6%. I think it's what we've been doing already. And I do also like the fact that there's going to be an annual review to ensure that our taxpayer money is being spent wisely.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may just point out just a nuance in the policy, just for the council to know, it does allow the annual review, as has been mentioned. In the unlikely event, for some reason that was missed and it didn't happen, the policy makes clear that the prior percentage, whatever is in place in the prior, will continue to roll through. So that way there won't be a year where there will be no contribution because it wasn't opted in every year. So it gives you the opportunity to review it. If it doesn't, it'll still roll through. Not that it would, not that Matt would ever let that not come back before you, but just in case.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve that item number H2?
So moved.
Is moved by Council Member Farmer.
Second?
Second by Council Member Vandenberg.
Frank, do they have to identify the percentage they want in the resolution or the motion?
Yeah. It was pretty clear.
Pretty clear 6%, but yeah.
Do you just need to reiterate it?
Yeah, you can state it for the record, but I think the minutes are pretty clear as 6%.
I make a motion that we use the 6% figure for the resolution.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano.
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau.
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer.
Yes.
Councilmember Vandenberg.
Aye.
Mayor Sandu.
Aye. Motion passes by 5-0. Thank you. Next agenda item is communication. Anything?
There is none.
Thank you. Next agenda item J, City Clerk's Report. Subject, Galt Municipal Code and Bylaws update the Galt Youth Commission.
The attorney Splendora is going to give that report.
Yes, thank you, Acting Deputy City Clerk. Wanted to bring before you a simple code amendment tonight. It is in section 2.85, chapter 2.85 of the code regarding the Galt Youth Commission. There was interest and desire to increase the voting youth commissioners from 10 to 12. And so the ordinance change that's being proposed simply is changing that number from 10 to 12 under 2.85.050A. And then there is a corresponding bylaws change under section 2.2 of the bylaws that changes the youth members from 10 to 12. And those are the only changes. I guess the impetus for the change was apparently there were some more youth that wanted to participate than were allowed to. And so there's a queue developing, so to speak. And the thought was to increase it to allow more youth participation. The upshot is, as I'm thinking about this, is it creates more opportunity for quorum if you ever have an issue, but it does increase the quorum requirement from 6 to 7. So, and that's pretty much the change.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, if I can, as the appointed council member to the Youth Commission, just want to reiterate what Frank said. This was born from a couple things. One, that the Youth Commission has gotten a lot of applicants, and it's been really difficult to turn people away. We want to try to encourage those people to be a part of the Youth Commission and not have to do that. We will still have to. We had 17 applicants this time around, so we're still going to turn some people away, but it was very difficult. The second part is, we have a lot of young, active people on this commission, and sometimes we have events or activities that the Youth Commission is participating in, and it's difficult to get a good amount of people to participate because they have all these extracurricular activities going on. So by increasing the number, it gives us a bigger chance to have more bodies, more or less, to participate. I don't see any negative to adding the bodies, honestly. I think it's a positive all around. So I just wanted to pass that on, coming from my fellow adult mentors. They asked me to pass that along. So,
Thank you. Any council member, any other comments?
Yeah, just a quick question. It says in the staff report that it was the adult mentors recommending this. Did we, and again, I don't have a problem with it, but the existing kids that are on were they in favor of it?
yeah, they actually asked. They said, "Why can't we just add more people?" When it was brought up, and so
Okay,
then
cool.
the mentor said, "Well, let's go and ask for that." So even though we requested to be agendized, they were asking if that's something we could
Awesome.
do.
Yeah, I just think we've got a couple of members that have done it for a little bit, and I think would provide good support, suggestions, so, good.
Thank you. Any other comment with any other council member? Is not any public comment on this agenda item?
There is no public comment.
Thank you. And may I have motion to approve this agenda item?
So moved?
Is moved by Council Member Berenberg,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Lozano. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Lozano.
Aye.
Councilmember Papineau. Councilmember Farmer.
Yes.
Councilmember Vandenberg.
Aye.
Mayor Sandu.
Aye, motion passes by 5-0. Next agenda item is K, comments by staff.
Yes, thanks, Mayor and Council. Before I turn it over to staff for any comments they may have, I just want to remind the council that, Mike Selling is leaving the city. This is his last week, so this is his final council meeting. And I just want to thank him for all the work and effort that he's put into the city of Galt. I think he was a great engineer. He was a great steward of the city's infrastructure. And I really appreciate working with him as a peer before I left, and then certainly since I've been back. But you are going to be missed, and thank you. So with that, Armando, did you have?
Yes, I have a few items. First of all, I'd like to thank council for your continued support for Parks and Recreation regarding the funding and the policies you guys have put in place over the last few years. I wanted to let you know that we finally have 3 electric mowers that we picked up today. We got them through a grant program. We turned in 3 of our mowers that didn't work for 3 brand-new electric mowers, various sizes. So our PG&E bill will start going up soon, and you'll notice that in the budget. Or SMUD, I'm sorry. Everybody else is complaining about PG&E rates, SMUD. Weeds, I want you to know that we're spraying. You'll see some dead weeds around. We're taking guys off of our weeding crew to spray, so within 2 weeks, we'll go back and knock down the dead stuff you guys see up. So please be patient as we do that. And I think that's Oh, the park master plan. We have another meeting with the group. They're coming out on the 28th and 29th to review our parks and facilities. And they plan on having the first community meeting sometime in late June or early July as we're finishing up the questionnaire now. That's it.
I have a quick question, Armando. Is there going to be an opportunity for us to meet with them individually or in groups of two?
Yes, I'm planning that.
Okay. Yeah. About what's the time frame on that?
I will have more information after our 28th and 29th meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Economic Development Director Amy Mendez.
Just wanted to give everybody a quick update that we had an issue with the Galt Connect app, and so I think some folks who were trying to download it off of the App Store were getting an error. That's been fixed, and it should be up and running. We will be launching a new citizen notification application on July 1st. Until then, you'll continue to see the normal Galt Connect interface. Come July 1st, you'll be prompted to just update your app, and then you'll have the new interface, which has a lot more functionality in it. So we're looking forward to that. And the application is still available. You can search it on the store now. That's it.
Human Resources Director, Ms. Colby.
Good evening. I just want to make the announcement that Human Resources will be out at the Galt Market with flyers and information to share with the community, so we're really looking forward to that.
Public Works Director for the time being, Mike Selling.
Yeah, no, thank you for the kind words, Chris. I really appreciate it. And I just want to thank the council and staff and certainly the community for the opportunity to serve these past little over 5 years. So it's been a great experience. Hopefully I'm leaving the city better than when I came in. And, you know, I've grown quite fond of this town, and I'll certainly be keeping an eye on things and probably visiting from time to time. So I look forward to seeing a lot of the projects that are in the pipeline come to fruition. And yeah, no, I'm very grateful. I do have a couple of project updates for you. One is, unfortunately, talk about being the bearer of bad news, I think Vice Mayor mentioned, but we have a project to improve the entryway or the beach entry on the rec pool. Competition pool is fine, no worries there, but the rec pool, we had hoped to be able to include it with the water slide next year, but conditions have kind of warranted that we jumped on it sooner. And unfortunately, there's been some delay with the contract, but it's all in place now. The contractor's going to be starting next week. Probably take them 20 to 30 days to finish the work. So unfortunately, I have to let everyone know that the rec pool is going to be closed for probably the next month or so. We will be making every effort, though, to have it open before the 4th of July Independence Day activities. So and hopefully even sooner than that. But anyway, so that's the update on that project. The other on C Street. Probably seen that there hasn't been a whole lot of activity here lately. There was a very large number of potholes, what we call potholes, basically where the contractor is checking to see where the utilities are located underground to make sure that things aren't going to be in conflict with the work that's being done, that they're low enough to when they start excavating. And so there's a number of conflicts that have been identified from that. Plans, as you know, don't always indicate things, where they actually are. And so that's why you have to do physical checking in the field. And so consequently, we've got to review that versus the design and come up with which utilities are going to need to be relocated, typically lowered because the street is high. And so they've finished that work now. They're going through that information, and we'll probably be meeting, I don't know if it's this week, but next week, at the latest, to go over that with the our construction management consultant that we have. And there's a couple of water lines I know that need to be relocated specifically for a couple of businesses. And also you'll see one of the subcontractors out there finishing up the work on the streetlight foundations for the new streetlights, and patching up those areas in the sidewalks too. So, and anyway, and then probably be another week or two, I'm going to say, after that, to where you'll probably see the K-rails go up and the real construction start in earnest. So that's kind of where things are at. Again, the utilities, always an unknown, and so unfortunately it's kind of stalled things a little bit here, but there's still some activity working. There's also some underground work for the signal at Lincoln as well. So the underground work is still going on, but then we would hope in the next couple of weeks that the real activity will start. So bear with us as we work through it. So if any questions, I'm happy to take them. Thank you.
Mr. Selling, do you have a question? And maybe it's not just the water lines, but in the process of this utility relocating that's going to have to happen, you mentioned that it's going to affect a couple businesses with water. I'm assuming you're going to reach out to those businesses, let them know.
Oh, yeah.
Do you...
They're already aware, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, do you think we're talking about a long few days without stuff?
Oh, no. This will probably be, I would guess, maybe half a day, couple hours.
Okay,
Yeah.
just curious. Okay, thank you so much. And again, you're already doing it, but I just want to say, being proactive with those people, giving them heads up is,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's all the staff.
Thank you. Next agenda item, comments by city council member, future agenda item. Vice Mayor Lozano.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. First of all, welcome Ms. Kobe to the city. I appreciate your services here, and look forward to seeing you guys out there at the market. Mike, great having you here. You are always very good to work with, and I believe you, as the interim city manager mentioned, really good steward of our system and very good at explaining how things work, and we're really going to miss you. So. Thank you. I won't go through all the events and stuff because it's been over a month, but I'll mention one that we went to. Actually, Councilmember Papineau and I were at the Sacramento District Attorney's Citizens Award on April 26th. And just as you may remember, we had a community member here receive an award last year. And I would encourage everyone, if you get an opportunity to attend whether or not somebody from Galt is receiving an award. It's very touching and moving, quite honestly. Got to attend the CAPS volunteer luncheon, and thank you to the chief, wherever you are, for all the work that's being done with the CAPS program. I think we're heading in the right direction on that. And I'm going to, again, apologize for not making the chamber state of the city, but I heard it went very, very well, and appreciate Papa's and Wings for hosting it there, and I understand it was very nice. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Papineau.
I'll echo what everybody else has said, Mike. Always had the utmost confidence that you were talking straight and things were handled. So whether it was the big storms or the routine stuff, we appreciate it, and you'll be missed. And work has gotten in the way of most every event that's come up for me. And I would like to appreciate how we do our presentations at the beginning of the agenda, because after I sat through an hour and 15 minutes of non-agenda public comment today, I got called away to work, still probably 20 minutes before they actually got to Fay Gaines recognition. So I missed it. So I'm glad that we do it first, and then everybody can do their stuff and leave. So that's all I have.
Councilmember Farmer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say, I just blanked right now. The State of the City was a great event. Thank you for everybody attending. Thanks for the chamber and the city for putting that on. It was a nice venue. It was a good time. Didn't get that free drink for the city manager, but maybe next time. I thank you for the weed spraying. Appreciate it. I had a lady come in my business today that said she was driving by the roundabout the other day and she saw the guys out there in what she called the hazmat suits. And she said, I saw those guys in the suits, and I looked and I said, well, that can't be good. Something's got to be going on. Thought it was like a chemical spill or something. So people are really paying attention. What are those guys in the suits out there doing? So really appreciate that. Mike, it's been good working with you. You came on board about the same time I did, if I remember, to council. So I know over the years I tend to have kind of like, you know, most of the majority of the agenda items that I send to pull and ask questions and pick on usually tend to be public works stuff. So it was nothing personal, but you've always been a good sport about it, and you're always very articulate with your answers. And even when I would contact you before the meeting, you were very good about you know, being very thorough and helping us understand. You know, public works is not something that we're experts on up here, so we're trying to do the best job we can with taxpayer money, asking questions, trying not to look stupid in an arena that we really don't know much about. So I appreciate you humoring us with that and for always doing what you do. So wish you well in your new endeavor, Mike. And lastly, Saturday market, right, coming up before our next council meeting, Saturday, June 1st. We have our... well, if it rained for that, that would be something, right?
Yes, the first Saturday in June.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, I just want to wish everybody a safe and happy Memorial Day, and that as all of you celebrate Memorial Day, just remember why it is that we celebrate that. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Benenberg.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to all the public comment. I always like it. Mike, I won't reiterate what everybody said, but I will say that nothing is a larger compliment than having the public start the applause. So I also attended the State of the City address, and I thought it was very well. I think what spoke most, after the meeting, I went to say hi to Aaron, representative from Matsui's office, and he complimented us and said we really had our act together. He could tell by the joking and the camaraderie that it's a city that's trying to work together and not fighting each other. So I applaud everybody on that aspect. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for Mike. Everybody said for your service, and you have a lot of knowledge and a lot of patience while you was working. You know, you bring. I know 5 years ago, same thing. When I was on the council, I think you just came in, and you changed a lot of things on your department. Thank you for your service, and I think we're gonna miss you. I also like to thank you, all other staff members. They're working really hard to do their job. City manager. The only thing, you know, I attend the State of the City luncheon. It was very well organized. Thank you for the chamber. Thank you for the staff organized. And I also like to appreciate the Papas and Pings. They host that thing. And that's all tonight. If nobody have no comment and no question, I would like to adjourn that meeting. Is around 8:55. Thank you.
7:52.
Oh.